All right, from the back, bend your knees, have your feet flat on the ground. And this is called constructive rest. And you can just notice how that feels. To have your sacrum or low back pressing on the ground. Feel like your shoulders relax, hands can be off to the side or hands on belly, whatever you'd like. Take a few breaths here, just kind of bringing yourself to your mats and noticing how you feel. Relaxing your face. Start to take a little deeper breath. Extending that inhale a little bit more. And exhale, slowly letting go. But take 3 more rounds of breath. Just tuning into the movement of that breath through the nostrils into the body. Good. And then when you're ready, allow yourself to come to a natural or neutral breath. Take your hands and draw the right knee into the chest. Squeeze that in and just observe how that feels on the right side of your spine and your hip. Good, you got it. We're going to point and flex the toes of the right foot. And then rotate the ankle around a few times. Reverse the direction. Good. Bring the right leg out to the right and then back to center. So kind of taking your right hand to bring the knee in and out. And then take your hands behind the right thigh, reach the right leg up toward the sky. Feeling that heel reaching up toward the ceiling. We don't need to have a straight leg here. You might have a deep bend in the knee, or you can take the leg further away from you. Just kind of noticing how this feels. Good, bend the knee, bring the right foot down to the ground. And then we'll do left side. So left knee into the chest, nice hug. Feeling that, the stretch across the back of the thigh and how maybe the lower back is a little more connected to the ground. Begin to move the toes, pointing and flexing. Good, and then rotate the ankle around. And another direction. You start to bring the leg out to the left. You can use just the left hand to open it out and bring it back to center a few times. And then hold the back of that left thigh, reach the left heel up toward the sky, reaching up. Again, amount, leg can be further away. You can have a fairly deep bend in the knee. Just checking in with the hamstrings. Good, bend the knee, bring the feet down to the ground. And then bring the soles of your feet together and let the knees open out. And see how the balance happens here. Your low back sacrum. You can rock right and left and notice how your weight shifts as you balance on the right side and the left side. And then as you find the center, start to let the knees kind of start to fall open here. And if it feels like it's a very big stretch here, you can take the feet further away from your body. Good. Now with the legs open, Gently bring the knees halfway up. Hold there for just a bit. So feet are down on the ground. There we go. And we're just bringing it halfway up. And you'll notice that there's some work that happens there. And then the knees come back together. Feet are on the ground. You got it. Now open the knees back halfway out. Hold there. So it's not relaxing. It's actually letting the muscles kind of hold the legs up halfway and then open all the way out. Good. And we'll do that one more time. So knees come halfway up. So feet are together. Knees are open up halfway. Good. There we go. Hold. Hold. There's some work happening on the inside of your thighs as well as the glutes and the core. Good. And then bring the knees back to beautiful. Hug both knees into the chest. Rock side to side. Now press your hands to the top of your thighs and line up your thighs so that they are straight up and down. And your shins are parallel to the ground. So we're going to press the hands into the thighs, but resist with the thighs. Good. From there, take right arm up and right toe touches the ground. The knee is still bent. Good. Then bring the knee back, hand to thigh. We'll do the same thing with the left. So left arm up, left toe touches the ground. And then let's just switch. So right toe down, right arm overhead. And then left toe down, left arm overhead. It's like a little bit of a march here, but we're really kind of stabilizing through our sacrum, our low back, and our hips here. So we were marching on our back. But when you're ready, come back to center, hug the knees into the chest, and then just rock a little right and left. All right, one more thing we're going to do while we're on the back. Feet come down to the ground. Feel the little arch of your back away from the low back. There's a little lift, that's the natural curve of our back. Now press the low back into the ground. Notice how the core and the hips and everything gets engaged, and then release that and let the back start to even arch away from the ground. So doing a little pelvic tilt, press down, and then release, gently lift there. Good. One more time, press down, and then gently arch, as if you are pressing into the back of your shoulder blades. Nice. All right, and then releasing, chin to, knees to chest again. So we're going to make our way to seated. You can roll to one side, especially if you're taking care of a back today. And then slowly come up to seated position. Good. Nice. All right, so from our seated position, if you need a blanket or something underneath you, this is the time to grab that. All right. If you need a drink of water, it's a good time to do it too. It's up to you, okay? All right, so just noticing, oops, looks like Deborah came back. We lost her for a bit. Oh, good, you made it back. All right. All right, so we're coming to a seated position. All right, so legs can be crossed, legs can be extended, legs can be in a butterfly pose, whatever you like. Okay, so your choice. Yogi's choice today. Start to slide of side bends. So we're going to take right arm out to the side, bend the elbow, and then take left hand to the left shoulder, and maybe reach up and over. So really noticing how when we stretch the side of our body, it really is connected to our hips, all the way down to the hips and even into the low back. So you can pause here, take a couple of breaths. Good. Come about halfway up so that the arms can extend out. And we're going to take left hand toward the right, like we were closing a book, and then opening the book. Inhale, open up, and exhale, close. One more. Good. Come back to upright. Notice how that side of the body feels. Good. Take a little twist over to the left, so right hand to the left side. Left hand comes around behind you. First, lengthen up through the spine with an inhale, and then exhale, begin to move to the left. Turn your body to the left. Chin slightly down. Can you feel good in the neck? Take 2 more rounds of breath. Good. Coming back to center. And a little forward fold, so you can walk your hands out in front. If you're really dealing with a tender back, you don't have to go far. But if it feels okay, you can go further out, hands further away, or even elbows down. Head relaxes. You can take the chin and do a nod up and down like yes. And side to side like no. Relaxing the head, slowly come back up from wherever you went. Okay. If you have your legs crossed, notice which one you have on top, because we're going to shake it out for a moment and then take it opposite side. Okay. Wiggle the legs out a little bit. Yeah. All right. And then if you're crossing, then we're going to recross opposite side. You can choose any leg position you want. So we're going to repeat that same sequence on the other side. So left hand starts to walk up, but keep the right hip down. So you decide how far to go. And then bending that left elbow, right hand can go right shoulder, or you can reach up and over. Good. Take a few rounds of breath here. I'm going to back off a little bit. That was a little too far for me. Feel that whole right side of the body. And then take that right arm and reach it up diagonally. And then we'll bring right hand over toward the left, like we're closing a book. Inhale to open the book. Exhale to close. One more. Good. Come back up to neutral. Twist over to the other side. Lengthening the spine and then gently looking toward the right side. Again, I generally like to have chin slightly tucked down, but you can test lifting the head. Good. Releasing the twist when you're ready. And then finding a little forward fold. So you can do fingertips and just kind of slowly walk out. Deciding how far you want to go. It could be just a little halfway. It could be elbows down. You could have your arms extended out in front of you. So just kind of noticing. Let the head hang, let the back of the neck go really nice and open here, a little stretched out. And then again, you can do nodding yes and nodding no, or shaking no. Slowly coming back up out of our forward fold to neutral spine. Stretching out the legs again, shaking them out. You do a little bit of a back bend here by taking our hands behind us, knees bent, feet are on the ground, and gently lifting the chest, rolling the shoulders down and back. Good, and then letting that release. So you can come through that a couple of times, gently looking up, finding a little bit of arch to the back. If you're looking for a little bit of a challenge, you could spread your fingers wide and begin to lift the hips off the ground. And then bring it back down. I'm a little bit sore in the wrist, so I'm not going to do that one again. Just notice that one is enough for me. All right. Beautiful. Release. Hug the knees. Round your back like a cat. And then hold the back of your thighs. Lift your chest. Like a cat-cow. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Good, exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Maybe even using your fingertips to lift that chest. Good, releasing to that pose. Good, take a little break. If you'd like some water, it's a good time for it. We'll move to some other poses today. Okay. So if you're okay with hands and knees, we're going to make our way to hands and knees. If you don't want to do hands and knees, you can make your way to standing, and I'll show you how to do this when you're standing instead. So if you're on hands and knees, we're in tabletop. And you can come through cat-cow a few times, and you can do that one from seated. Lifting the belly as we round the upper back. And then bringing the chest forward as the tailbone lifts. Good. If you'd like to add a flow, when we round, we can bring the hips back toward the heels as into child's pose. And then we bring the elbows down and then start to come forward into our cow, maybe even leaning forward a little bit. Good. Round and back. Elbows down, start to draw that chest forward, tailbone up. Good. And then find your child's pose for a moment. So again, if you're sitting down, you can just do it forward fold, and you can even, if you're on your hands and knees, you can bring your hands underneath your forehead. Good. Reaching your arms out in front, come up to tabletop again. And then walk your hands a little further forward. We're going to lean forward so that we're in plank pose with the knees down. Good. And then press back, child's pose. Good. Couple times if you want to, and if you don't want to, if you've had enough of wrists and knees, you're going to make your way down to your belly. So take your time. Lowering your hips in line with your body. Beautiful. And then back to child's pose. All right. From our plank pose, bend your elbows. Start to lower your body down to the ground. If you need to just bring the hips down, you can. And we're just going to come all the way down until we're down on the belly. I'm going to turn around a little bit. So this is a back bend. And so if you notice that this is a little uncomfortable for your low back, you can take your feet a little bit wider and press the tailbone, the pubic bone down. Another thing that some people will do is take a blanket, fold it up, and place it right under the hips. And that takes some of the pressure off. So you can choose any of those things. Now what we're going to do from here is lift the right leg, reach it back, and then lower it down. And then lift the left leg, reach it back, lower it down. So we create a little more space at the front of the hips. Good. Now bringing your arms back, palms down alongside the body. Start to lift your chest, lift your arms, lifting just the upper back part. And then exhale as you bring it down. Good. Inhale, lifting just the upper back while everything is anchored down, and then release. Good. One more time. Lifting up, holding, and then release. If you'd like to add the legs, we're going to do one variation where the upper body lifts in one leg and down. And then locust with the other leg and down. The final variation will be the whole body, both legs, all the chest balancing on that center part of the body. Beautiful. Release. So the point of that is to lengthen or strengthen our back muscles. And you can rest now with your hands under your forehead, bend your knees, and let your hips rock side to side. So every time we do that kind of a balance or that kind of a locust pose, back bend that's supported with the ground, we always want to use the core and use our glutes as much as needed. Good. Relax the legs down, bring your hands alongside your chest, elbows pointed up toward the ceiling. And we're going to make our way back up to tabletop. And then shift to a standing position. So you can take any foot down to the ground and then the other to a forward fold. Feet a little bit wider. You can keep a good bend in the knees and let yourself kind of hang here, as if you were letting tension just drip off of your back and your shoulders. Good. Slowly coming up, bend your knees, keep the belly in, start to roll up low back, middle back, shoulders, and head. We find our way back up into our standing pose, mountain pose. You can move things around, you can shake them out, you can grab a drink of water. It's probably a good time for a little break before we move into our standing poses today. How's everybody feeling so far? Doing all right? Okay, thumbs up, thumbs down, yeah. It's just okay. It's good to acknowledge that. It's good to acknowledge so that we don't, when we don't want to overdo stuff, right? Thanks, Deborah. Yeah, good. All right. So as an option, always know that if your downward facing dog is one of the best poses for the back. It really is for me anyway. But if you find that it's just getting to be too much on your wrists and shoulders, I'll show the option where you use the wall or a chair, okay? So I'll show that in a bit. But first we're going to start with our mountain pose and our gentle sun salutations or half sun salutations. All right, so mountain pose. Let's pay attention to the feet, rocking up onto the heels and then lifting the toes. Good. Noticing how the feet feel connected to the earth. Good. And then letting the feet really kind of expand all the way down into the ground. Good. And then we can start to find our mountain pose. I find that if I'm having a little bit of a sore back, bending the knees and kind of reaching the tailbone down and lifting the lower belly actually helps that area. Okay, so kind of just listen to that. And I've been going through the same thing myself. All right, so inhale, arms reach out and up. Good, exhale, hands to heart. Beautiful, inhale, reach up. And exhale, release. Good, let's do that again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, release. Beautiful. Next time we're going to add a little bit. If you want, you can take your feet a little bit wider as we find a side bend. So inhale, reach up. Good. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. Right hand goes to the right as we reach over to that right side. Press that left hip out. but keep your weight equally balanced between both feet. Continue to breathe. Good, and then back up, and then to the left. So reaching out, pressing down through the feet, kind of bracing yourself a little bit through the core area. Good, and then back up. Hands to heart. Good. From this pose, if we wanted to find a chair pose, we could play with a block. So a block or a pillow, and bring it between your thighs just above the knees. And I know it feels weird, so we won't keep it there, but I just want you to feel the thighs drawing in. And when that happens, it changes the sensation. So we're using our adductor muscles to draw in, and it makes our hips work a little differently, okay? So then you can find chair pose. And we're not putting quite as much pressure on the low back. We're using more of this area here. So we can find chair pose here. Good. Hands to heart. And then forward fold. Maybe we're not going as far. You know, maybe we just go a little ways here. Good. Then come up halfway, lengthen your spine. And then back to forward fold. And again, it's not going to be all the way because we're really kind of squeezing that block in. Good. Back to halfway up. Chair pose. And then come all the way up. Beautiful. All right, release. So you can take the block out of the way, but keep that sensation of things drawing in toward the center, and it will give you a different sensation when we move through those poses. So we'll do one more of those. We're going to start with our mountain pose. Good. Inhale, reach up. Good. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees. This time we're going to do forward fold, either at this huddle, which is enough. Good. Or down to forward fold. Don't go too far if that's a sore area of the body. Inhale, come up halfway. Good. And then come back up. Sweep the arms up and over. Beautiful. Hands to heart. Bend the knees, chair pose. Think about the knees as if you were squeezing the block between the knees. Chair doesn't have to be deep. It could be just here, right? Good. Maybe arms reach out. And then bring the hands back to heart. Twist to your right. Come back to center. Twist to your left. Back to center. Forward fold. Halfway or all the way. Good. Straightening the legs or keeping the knees bent. Inhale halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees and the hips back. Imagine squeezing that block between your thighs. Come back to chair pose. And then press in as you lengthen up. You can lift the chest, gently look up. Beautiful. Release the hands. Good. Find some swings. You can swing it right and left. All right. And then coming back to center in our Anjali Mudra, we can have the hands together. We'll spend a little bit of time kind of paying attention to the wrists and the shoulders here. So your legs can be in any position you want. You can do mountain pose, you can do goddess pose, anything you like here, okay? All right, so hands together. Begin to press your palms together and spread your fingers wide. See if you can lift the elbows without shrugging the shoulders. So keep the shoulders down. Good, so we're going to kind of find a little bit of wrist movement here. Press the hands over to the right without turning the body. So your shoulder gets a little more active there. Good, and then center, and then to the left. Oh, good. Back to center. Turn your fingers as if you were trying to point down toward the ground. Nice. And then turn your fingers as if you're trying to point towards your chest. Good. Clasp your hands together.
We're going to press the palms forward. Beautiful. If you'd like, you can take a wide stance, toes turned out. You can either keep your legs straight or you can bend down into goddess pose. Tailbone is reaching down toward the ground, and then we can take a twist to that right side. Good. And then center, and then to the left. Good. Come back to center. Release the arms, reach back behind you. Good. Straightening the legs. You can reach back behind you, and then you could do just a little, just a half forward fold, not even all the way down. Almost like you were doing a skier flying down the slopes, right? All right, coming back to upright, hands to heart. So we'll continue that sequence. You can start with legs relatively straight, or if you want to hold goddess the whole time, you're welcome to, okay? So your choice. Palms together, elbows lifted, shoulders down. Beautiful. Spread the fingers wide, press the palms together, and just to change things up, we'll move, press over to the left side. Good. Center, and then over to the right. Center, fingers toward the ground. Back up, and then fingers toward the chest. Good. Clasp your hands the opposite way that you normally would, and then gently press your palms forward. Again, once again, finding goddess. If you'd like to start to sink the hips down, we can take the arms up overhead. Pressing the palms up toward the sky, and then a lean or reach over to that right side. Good. Center, and a lean or reach over to the left. Good. Coming back to center, release the arms, reach back. Good. A little bow if you want. Straighten the legs if you want to, it's okay. You don't have to be completely in goddess the entire time. And then back into goddess. Beautiful. All right, straightening the legs. Toes come forward. You can bring your hands to your hips. We want the feet to be a little parallel on this one. And then a little half forward fold. So here's an option. Feet can be wider, and we want to keep that tailbone kind of reaching and the lower belly lifting. So you're going to find a place where your body actually likes the pose, and you don't have to go any further. You can stay halfway or a third of the way up. You can start to slide your hands towards your thighs or your shins. You could bring your hands to the ground. If you don't easily reach the ground, it's a nice place for the block. Always be aware that if you have that sore low back, you can play with curling the tailbone under and tilting it up. I find that curled under is a little bit better, especially being a little gentle for this. Good. When you're ready to come up, hands back to hips, and then slowly come back up. Nice. Beautiful. From this position, we can turn right toes to the right and then bend the right knee. So we're in warrior pose. Good. Feeling everything drawing in toward the center, looking to the right. Turn that right palm up. Bring the right arm up and the right side of the body. Left hand to the thigh into reverse warrior, peaceful warrior. Good. And then back to warrior. Right elbow, forearm down to the thigh, left arm up and over into our side angle. Good. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Last one. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Good. Back up to warrior. Straighten that right leg. Reach out with the right hand. And then bring the hand on the inside of the thigh. It's also a good time for a block. Left arm up. So you can either bring that hand to the top of the thigh the shin, and then the other one's reaching up. I like the block too. Good, and then coming back up. Good, release the arms, turn the toes forward, wiggle out the hips. We can take a little break simply by bringing the feet together, heel toe feet, and then do a little march, a swing, or anything you need here. If you're challenging your balance, you can try knee to chest, really feeling that stretch across the glutes. Nice. Here we go. Nice. All right, let's find other side. So legs wide, feet parallel. Remembering that our spine is neutral. We don't want to either curl under or reach out with our tailbone. We want it kind of down. We'll go other side. So left toes turn out to the left. Left knee bends. Good. Arms reach out. Palms are down. Shoulders are relaxed. Nice. Feel everything drawing in toward the center. Then looking at your left hand, turn the left palm up. Reach up. Right hand goes to the thigh. This is our reverse or peaceful warrior, back to warrior two. Left elbow bends, coming forearm to thigh, right arm up and over. Side angle. If you'd like to take 2 more rounds, we can do an inhale for peaceful warrior and an exhale for side angle. Feel free to take extra breaths as you need. This is just an example to remember to breathe. Good. Coming back to warrior. Good. Straightening the leg. Reach out with your right hip and out with the left hand. Good. Hand comes to the top of the thigh, in shin, maybe even down to a block. Right arm reaches up and over. Take your time, make this modified as much as you need to. We're really just trying to feel the outer edges of the hip, as well as the hamstring stretch here. Good, back up to warrior two. Beautiful, release the arms. Good, turn the toes forward. Good. And then heel toe the feet together. Nice. Whew. Shake things out. Take a break. So one of my very favorite poses that helps my entire back is downward facing dog. I want to show you that there are different options, and I know you have done these with me, but because I'm recording this, I want to make sure everybody knows there's an option to use the chair or a counter, and that's hands on the chair or hands on the wall, and then stepping back and reaching back. And what I like about this variation is that you're not putting a lot of weight on your wrists. So you could have your hands on a table. They can be on the back of the chair. They could be counter height. So if you keep a good bend in your knees and just reach back with your hips, you'll feel a lot of length all the way down the back of the body. This is my actual new favorite version of downward facing dog. We'll come back to other variations in a bit. When you're ready to come up, gently look forward and walk your feet toward the back of the chair. Nice. So there's, you can do this on a wall. You will have some wrist pressure because you've got your hands, spread wide while we reach back. But it's not as much weight as when we're on the ground. So you can kind of play with that when you want to. There we go. Nice job. Good. So the idea is we really want the length of the spine in the pose. so that we open up the front of the armpit as well. Good. All right. Now when you're ready, we'll come back to mountain pose. Nice. That's one of my favorite things. All right. From mountain pose, feel your feet underneath you, feel the centering of your body. If it helps, you can even bring your hands together in front of your heart. And as you press your palms together, imagine this line right down the center of your body. And everything is kind of moving in toward the center. Notice your balance from right to left, and your balance from front of the feet to back of the feet. Balancing even your head so that your ears are over your shoulders. And gently start to shift your weight to the right foot, then the left knee. We're going to find tree pose. So you find any variation you like. You can open the knee up to the side, keep the toe down and the heel against the ankle. Or you could bring foot to calf. Good. Some of you can do foot to thigh, but I can't do that. All right, and your hands can be here, and I'm a little wobbly today, so I'm going to hold on to my chair. So you can do anything you want with your arms. When you're ready to release, bring the arms down, bring the knee forward, set the foot down, shake it out. Oof. Good. Wobbles are a good thing. When we're feeling that wobbliness in our feet, our ankles, our body, it's our core muscles, it's everything trying to catch us and keep us in that balanced state. So that's a good thing, actually. All right. Start back in our mountain pose, maybe hands to heart, Anjali Mudra. Find your focal point. Shift your weight to your left. And then find whatever variation of tree pose works for this side. It could be different. Stay focused, keep your breath going. Grow your branches if you want to, or not. Notice the fluctuations. Beautiful. When you're ready to release, arms come down, knee comes forward, set the foot down. Good. Again, shaking out whatever you need to shake out. All right, so we're going to make our way back down to the ground. And I'm going to do an option of downward facing dog, a traditional downward facing dog. So if you want to follow me through that, you can. You could do one on the chair, or you could just make your way down to seated any way you want. So we'll start at the top of the mat if you want to follow me, sun salutation, half sun salutation. All right, inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, swan dive forward fold, knees bent to protect the back. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands, step your feet back. Plank pose. Keep drawing up, lifting through here. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. Good bend in the knees will help you really lengthen out through the spine. And then you can try to press the heels toward the ground. Good. Inhale, shift forward, plank pose, optional. Optional knees down. Optional lower to the ground, chaturanga. Inhale to cobra, lifting the chest, maybe baby cobra or higher cobra. But again, be really nice to your back if that's an issue for you today. Good. And then from cobra to hands and knees, and then just have a seat. Nice. Whew. It's quite a bit. Nice job. Oh, you know, it just doesn't no matter what's going on with your body, it's so good to just be mindful of what's good for it that day and what's not. We never need to push through anything in particular. So if you want to take a water break before we make our way back down to the back, this is a good time to do it.
And then when you're ready, we're just going to come all the way down. And again, you can keep the legs bent or you can stretch them out. You could rock side to side. If you have a block, I forgot to say it before we laid back, try to have it handy because we're going to do one thing with it, or maybe two things with it. All right. Beautiful. Now walk the heels a little closer to the glutes, but the feet have at least 1 or 2 fist widths between. You want about hip bone width, okay? Actually, you're going to find out that if you take your block and reach it between your thighs, just above the knees, or you can do a pillow, your feet should be the same distance apart as your knees are. So squeeze the block and then release. There's an action, so if you have a block, you can do that. You can do a pillow too, between the thighs. Squeeze the block and then soften. So as soon as we squeeze, there's an activation of the hips, the glutes, probably the core, and release. Beautiful. Now, if you want to take this into bridge pose, you can. If you just like to squeeze and release, that's fine. Otherwise, you can start to lift the hips, continuing to squeeze down through the center, rolling up onto the upper back. So bridge pose when you want to, and then roll it back down. Good. So I'm going to show you how this works with a pillow. You can take a pillow that's not too squishy right between the thighs. It'll be a little softer than the block. And then again, lifting as you continue to draw the thighs in toward the center. Lift the hips, roll on up, and then roll back down. Good, nice job. All right, now option of taking that same bridge pose, but now the hip, the block, or the pillow is underneath your low back. So you can just let it rest and feel like a massage of the low back. Good. You can extend one leg along the ground while the other one stays bent. So option of block or pillow beneath the back if you want to. Good. And then switch legs. The other leg stretches out while the other one stays bent. To me, that one feels good to do one leg at a time. Some people like to do both legs. I find it's a little too much. And then we could take the legs up toward the sky while we're balancing on that block. Nice. So this is just, a little bit of an inversion. It's like the beginning of, a shoulder stand. And we can take the legs wide. Come back together. We can take right leg forward, left leg back, drawing that belly down, and then switch. Left leg forward, right leg back, like you're doing a little scissor. And then you can come into butterfly pose, feet together, knees out to the sides, maybe even holding onto the ankles. As the heels come closer toward the groin. There you go. All this time, we're really kind of balancing on our shoulder blades as well as that low back area. When you're ready to release, you can bring the feet back down to the ground. Lift your hips enough to move the block if you have one, and then release back to the ground. Nice. So it's, a lot of back love today and hips. Finding our pigeon pose, right ankle over left thigh, figure 4. Good. You can absolutely stay with your feet down on the ground and just gently press your right thigh away. Or if you wanted more, you can bring that left thigh in, pull the back of the thigh. So I like to really explore this pose. Every day it's a little bit different, what feels best for me. Really think about reaching that right hip forward so you're not crunching it into the body, but trying to create more length along the low back area. Beautiful. When you're ready, we're going to bring that left foot down. Right knee comes into the chest. And you can even extend the left leg along the ground if you'd like. We'll find a twist. So left hand to right knee, right arm out to the side. Start to take that knee over to your left side, finding a gentle twist here. Bring the knee back to center. And then bring both feet back down to the ground, knees up toward the sky. Second side. Left thigh, left ankle over right thigh, fit pigeon pose. And then finding the same variation that you did on the other side, but also acknowledging that each side may be different. Remember that we still want to try to find length in the spine. So try to keep that left hip reaching away from you rather than curling in toward the body. Again, showing love to the low back, love to the hips. My mom has been having back problems and she went to a physical therapist. And of course, this is one of the exercises they give them. It's just a very common way to release tension, whether it's sciatica or SI joint issues, whatever. All of these this is usually appropriate for it. So when you're ready to release, go ahead and bring the right foot down to the ground. Hug the left knee into the chest and then extend the right leg if that feels okay for your body. If it doesn't, you can always keep that leg bent, okay? All right, we'll find a twist on this side. Right hand to left knee, starting to bring the knee across to the right side. Finding your twist. So right knee goes over towards the left, any amount. Good. And if you have a different twist that you like, it's okay to do both knees at the same time. Yeah, it's fine to do that. Good. When you're ready, come back to center. Hugging that knee in. And then stretching out the leg. Shake out the legs. If it feels good, you can reach out, either arms overhead or arms out to the side like a starfish, legs wide. Take an inhale, stretch out big. Exhale, soften. Good. And if you're nursing it back, then often staying with the knees bent is really the best place to be. You could take your feet wider and let the knees knock in against each other from here. Before we move completely into Shavasana, you can play with that knees in, or you can play with butterfly pose. Feet together, knees out for just a couple of breaths. All of that moves our hips and back into different positions. So it's good to play with them and see what actually feels better in the body. And then go ahead and move into any position that you would like for Shavasana. Take another deep breath in through the nose and a big sigh. Allow yourself to become completely comfortable, sinking into the mat. As you notice what you feel in your body, you can do a little scan and acknowledge whatever you discover. But let go of the need to try and diagnose or fix anything. Right now, it's just the time to acknowledge and send out compassion wherever it's needed. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable, and gently begin to shift so that you feel comfortable with your body underneath you. Continue to breathe in a natural way and enjoy a bit of silence. I'm going to be quiet for the next few moments so you can enjoy a deeper relaxation. Very, very gently bring your awareness back to the moment. Feel the breath as you inhale. It moves through the body. And as you exhale, it moves back out. Find a little bit of movement, welcoming the fingers, the toes, the ankles, the wrist movement. Stretching out bigger if that feels good. Take a deeper breath. Allowing your body and your energy to start to come back to a more awakened state. And start to find your way back to seated. So again, it could be knees to chest. It could be rolling to one side. And just pausing to acknowledge. And then gently using your hands to press yourself back up to a seated position. Good. Beautiful. One more deep breath through the nose. And a big sigh. Releasing everything we no longer need. Turn the palms up to acknowledge anything that's good. Simply being able to wake up and practice today is a good place to be. Thanks to you for joining me. So that's my gratitude for today. Bring your hands together in front of your hearts, sealing in that sense of gratitude for our lives and for those good things in our lives, even as we continue to deal with different challenges. Have a beautiful day. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.